Marcus Chen had lost everything. His sister Sarah was dead. His 10-year-old niece Emma was dying from a rare genetic disease. The insurance companies wouldn't pay. The lawyers had given up. Tesla's executives claimed the fatal car crash was just an accident. But Marcus knew better. For 2 years, he had been investigating the real cause of Sarah's death. Now he had proof that Tesla had covered up a deadly software bug to protect their stock price. The same bug that killed his sister could kill thousands more drivers. Emma needed $2 million for experimental treatment in Switzerland. She had 6 months to live without it. The only person with enough money and power to help was the same man whose company had killed Sarah, Elon Musk. On a cold March night in 2024, Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He would break into the most secure compound in Texas. He would confront the world's richest man. And he would say the words that would stop Elon Musk dead in his tracks. Some promises are worth risking everything for. Some truths are too important to stay buried. And sometimes a desperate uncle's love for his dying niece can move mountains, or in this case, move the man who wants to colonize Mars. This is the story of how one family's tragedy became humanity's greatest triumph. It begins with a break-in and ends among the stars. The security camera caught him at exactly 2. Marcus Chen moved like a shadow across the dark Texas ground. His breath made small white clouds in the cold March air as he pressed himself against the tall fence surrounding Elon Musk's Boca Chica compound. The metal was cold under his gloved hand. For 2 weeks, Marcus had watched this place. He knew the guards changed shifts at 2:30 a.m. He knew the cameras had a blind spot near the east corner. Most importantly, he knew which sensors to avoid, because he had helped install them 3 years ago when he still worked for SpaceX. Back then, Marcus Chen was one of the best engineers on Elon's team. He designed security systems and helped build rockets that could reach Mars. He had a good life, a nice house, and dreams of exploring space. But that was before everything fell apart. Before Sarah died, Marcus pulled wire cutters from his backpack. The fence was 12 feet high with razor wire on top. But he had found a service gate hidden behind some bushes. It was the same gate he had used when he worked here. His hands shook as he cut through the lock. The compound was huge and dark. Marcus had to cross 200 yards of open ground to reach the main house. He stayed low and moved fast. Every shadow looked like a guard. Every sound made his heart jump. But he kept going because Emma was counting on him. Emma was his 10-year-old niece, Sarah's daughter. The only family Marcus had left in the world. The house stood like a fortress against the starry sky. It was all glass and steel, the kind of building that said its owner was rich and powerful. Marcus had been inside many times for company meetings. He knew Elon liked to work late in his home office on the second floor. Marcus found the service entrance he was looking for. It was hidden behind a fake panel that looked like part of the wall. He had designed this entrance himself as a backup exit in case of emergency. Now he was using it to break in. His hands remembered the code, 284. The door clicked open. Inside, the house was dark and quiet. Marcus knew the layout by heart. He walked down a long hallway lined with pictures of rockets and electric cars. His footsteps were silent on the thick carpet. As he climbed the stairs to the second floor, Marcus thought about the last time he had seen Elon. It was at Sarah's funeral 2 years ago. Elon had come to pay his respects, but Marcus was too angry and hurt to talk to him. All he could think about was that Sarah was dead and it was Elon's fault. Sarah had been driving her Tesla Model S home from work when it happened. The car's autopilot was on. She was probably checking her phone or thinking about Emma's upcoming piano recital. Then something went wrong. The car suddenly speeded up instead of slowing down. It crashed into oncoming traffic at 90 miles per hour. The police said it was driver error. Tesla's lawyers said Sarah should have been paying attention. The insurance company paid out the minimum amount and closed the case. But Marcus knew better. He was an engineer. He understood computers and software. Cars don't just speed up by themselves unless something is broken. Marcus reached the second floor and stopped outside Elon's office. Light showed under the door. He could hear the sound of typing and the low hum of computers. Marcus took a deep breath and touched the worn leather folder under his arm. Everything he needed was in that folder. He pushed open the door and stepped inside. Elon Musk sat behind a huge desk covered with papers and computer screens. He was wearing a black t-shirt and jeans, looking tired but focused. His hair was messy like he had been running his hands through it. When he looked up and saw Marcus, his eyes went wide with surprise. "Don't move," Marcus said quickly. His voice came out rougher than he meant it to. "Don't call security. Don't touch any buttons. I just need 5 minutes of your time." Elon's hand had been reaching towards something under his desk, probably a panic button. He stopped and stared at Marcus. "Marcus, what are you doing here? How did you get in? I designed half the security systems in this place. Remember?" Marcus stepped closer to the desk. "You fired me after Sarah's funeral, said I was too emotional to do my job properly. You threatened to kill me," Elon said quietly. "You said Tesla murdered your sister. I was grieving. I said things I shouldn't have said." Marcus's hands were shaking again. The leather folder felt heavy in his arms. "But I wasn't wrong about Tesla. I wasn't wrong about what happened to Sarah." Elon studied Marcus's face. Something in the way Marcus looked must have warned him that this wasn't just about anger anymore. This was about something bigger and more dangerous. "What do you want?" Elon asked. "I want to talk about Sarah's death. The real story, not the lies your lawyers told everyone." Marcus held up the leather folder. "I've been investigating for 2 years. I know what really happened that night on Highway 1. The investigation is closed. The police were lied to, just like Sarah's family was lied to, just like the public was lied to." Marcus opened the folder and pulled out a thick stack of papers. "These are internal Tesla documents, engineering reports, software logs, email chains between your programmers." Elon's face went pale. "Where did you get those?" "From someone who still works at Tesla. Someone who has a conscience." Marcus spread the papers across Elon's desk. Someone who couldn't live with keeping quiet anymore. The papers showed test results and bug reports from Tesla's autopilot software. There were warnings about a glitch that could make cars accelerate when they should brake. The warnings were dated 3 weeks before Sarah died. "There's more," Marcus said. His voice was getting stronger now, more confident. "I have a recording of the engineer who tried to warn your management team about the problem. She told them people could die if they didn't fix it right away." Elon picked up one of the papers and read it. His hands were shaking now too. "They told her to wait till after the quarterly earnings report." Marcus continued. "Fixing the bug would mean admitting there was a problem. That would hurt Tesla's stock price. So they decided to wait." "That's not," Elon started to say, then stopped. He was still reading the paper. "Sarah died 3 days before your earnings call." 3 days. Marcus's voice cracked. If your people had done the right thing, she would still be alive. Emma would still have her mother. Elon looked up from the papers. His famous confidence was gone. He looked like a man who had just learned something terrible about himself. "I need you to listen to something," Marcus said. He pulled out a small digital recorder and set it on the desk. "This is Dr. Lisa Park. She was the engineer who tried to warn everyone. She recorded this conversation with your management team 2 days before Sarah died." Marcus's finger hovered over the play button. Everything he had worked for during the past 2 years came down to this moment. Justice for Sarah. Hope for Emma. Truth instead of lies. "Don't call security," Marcus said again. "Don't try to stop me. You need to hear this, Elon. All of it." But before he could press play, Marcus looked directly into Elon's eyes and said the words that would change everything. "It's not just about Sarah anymore. It's about Emma. My niece is dying, and you're the only person who can save her life." Elon stared at Marcus for a long moment. The office was so quiet that Marcus could hear his own heartbeat. Outside, the wind whistled through the Texas hills. "What do you mean Emma is dying?" Elon asked slowly. Marcus felt his throat tighten. Even after 2 years, it was hard to talk about Emma's sickness. "She has Huntington's disease. It's the same thing that killed Sarah's father when we were kids." Elon knew about Huntington's disease. It was a terrible sickness that slowly destroyed a person's brain and body. There was no cure, and most people who got it died within 10 to 20 years. "How old is Emma now?" Elon asked. 10. The doctors say she might have 5 or 6 years before it gets really bad. But there's an experimental treatment in Switzerland. Gene therapy. It could stop the disease completely if we catch it early enough. Then take her to Switzerland. Marcus laughed. But there was no happiness in the sound. Do you know how much it costs? $2 million. Insurance won't pay for experimental treatments. I've spent everything I had on lawyers trying to prove Tesla was responsible for Sarah's death. Elon looked at the papers spread across his desk. Tesla internal documents about software bugs and safety problems. Marcus could see him thinking, calculating, weighing options. Let me see the recording, Elon said finally. Marcus pressed play on the digital recorder. Dr. Lisa Park's voice filled the room. She sounded nervous and scared. This is Dr. Park calling about the autopilot acceleration bug I reported last week. I need to speak with someone in management right away. Another voice came on the line. Marcus recognized it as Tom Richards, Tesla's head of software development. Lisa, we've talked about this. The bug affects less than 1% of vehicles. We'll patch it in the next regular update. Tom, this can't wait for a regular update. I've run the simulations 12 times. If a car hits this bug at the wrong moment, it could accelerate to dangerous speeds. People could die. The quarterly earnings call is next week. If we push an emergency update now, reporters will ask questions. They'll want to know what was so urgent that we couldn't wait. I don't care about the earnings call. This is about safety. There was a pause. When Tom spoke again, his voice was colder. Lisa, you're a good engineer, but you don't understand the business side. Tesla's stock price affects thousands of jobs. If we panic the market over a minor software glitch, we could lose billions in value. This isn't minor. The bug makes cars accelerate when they should brake. I've identified 847 vehicles with the affected software version. We'll fix it after earnings. 2 weeks won't make a difference. Dr. Park's voice got louder and more upset. 2 weeks could be the difference between life and death for someone. That's enough, Lisa. The decision is made. We'll patch the bug in 2 weeks and that's final. If you can't accept that, maybe you should think about whether Tesla is the right company for you. The line went dead. Marcus stopped the recording. Elon was staring at the desk, his face pale. Sarah died 12 days after that phone call, Marcus said quietly. 12 days. Her Tesla had software version 2.4.7. The same version Dr. Park was worried about. Elon picked up one of the internal documents and read it again. It was a bug report filed by Dr. Park 3 weeks before Sarah's accident. It described exactly what had happened to Sarah's car. Where is Dr. Park now? Elon asked. Gone. She quit Tesla 6 months after Sarah died, left the state, changed her phone number. The only way I found her was through a friend who used to work with her. Marcus pulled out his phone and showed Elon a photo of Sarah. She was laughing, holding Emma on her shoulders at a SpaceX launch event. Both of them were wearing SpaceX t-shirts and big smiles. Sarah believed in what you were doing, Marcus said. She thought Tesla could save the environment and SpaceX could take humans to the stars. She was proud to drive a Tesla. She felt like she was part of something important. Elon studied the photo. She brought Emma to launches sometimes. I remember them. Emma still talks about those launches. She wants to be an astronaut when she grows up. Marcus's voice broke slightly. But she won't live long enough to see humans land on Mars unless we do something now. Marcus showed Elon more documents from his folder. Medical bills from Emma's treatments. Letters from doctors explaining her condition. Photos of Emma in the hospital. Looking small and scared but still smiling. I'm not here for revenge, Marcus said. I thought I was, but I'm not. I'm here because Emma is running out of time. And I've run out of options. Elon was quiet for several minutes. He looked through all the documents, studying each one carefully. Marcus could almost see him thinking, processing information like the computer engineer he used to be. How do I know you won't go to the media with this? Elon asked finally. Because I don't want to destroy Tesla. Sarah wouldn't want that either. She believed electric cars were important for fighting climate change. But I also can't let Emma die when there's something that could save her. And if I help Emma, you'll keep quiet about the bug? Marcus hesitated. This was the moment he had been planning for 2 years, but now that it was here, he wasn't sure what he wanted anymore. I'll make you a deal, Marcus said. Help Emma and I'll help you make sure this never happens to another family. Use me. I'm a good engineer and I know how corporate bureaucracy can hide problems. Let me help you build better systems so that engineers like Dr. Park don't get ignored when they try to save lives." Elon looked surprised. "You want to work together? I want Emma to grow up in a world where technology actually makes people safer, not just richer." Sarah wanted that too. Marcus put the recorder away and gathered up the papers. "I'm staying at the Motel 6 on Highway 4. Room 127. You have until tomorrow morning to decide. After that, I go to the newspapers with everything I have." He walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back. "One more thing, Elon. Dr. Park didn't just quit Tesla and disappear because she felt guilty. She left because she was scared. Someone threatened her. Someone told her to stay quiet about the bug or face consequences." Elon's eyes went wide. "Who?" "I don't know yet, but I think there are people at Tesla who would do anything to protect the company's reputation, even if it means covering up something that could save lives." Marcus opened the door and stepped into the hallway. Behind him, he heard Elon call out, "Marcus, wait." But Marcus was already walking away, his footsteps echoing in the dark hallway. He had said everything he came to say. Now it was up to Elon to decide what kind of man he wanted to be. As Marcus made his way back through the compound and over the fence, he thought about Emma sleeping in her bed 200 miles away. She didn't know that her uncle had just broken into one of the most secure buildings in Texas. She didn't know that her life might depend on what Elon Musk decided to do in the next few hours. All Emma knew was that Uncle Marcus had promised to find a way to make her better. And Marcus Chen never broke a promise to his niece. Elon Musk didn't sleep that night. He sat in his office until sunrise, staring at the internal Tesla documents Marcus had left behind. The bug gerbs were real. The dates matched Marcus's story perfectly. Sarah Chen had died because Tesla chose profits over people. At 6:30 a.m., Elon called his head of legal, Jennifer Walsh. She answered on the first ring, sounding tired but alert. "Elon, what's wrong? It's barely dawn. I need you to pull all files related to the Chen family settlement from 2022. Sarah Chen, Model S accident on Highway 1. There was a pause. That case is sealed. The family signed a non-disclosure agreement. The brother didn't sign it. Marcus Chen. He was hospitalized during the settlement talks. Elon, why are you asking about this now? That case was closed 2 years ago." Elon rubbed his eyes. "Because Marcus Chen broke into my house last night. He has internal documents about the autopilot bug that killed his sister." Jennifer was quiet for a long moment. "I'll have the files on your desk in an hour." After hanging up, Elon walked to the window and looked out at the Texas sunrise. He thought about Marcus climbing over the fence in the dark, carrying evidence that could destroy Tesla's reputation. But Marcus hadn't gone to the newspapers. He had come to Elon directly, asking for help. The phone rang again. This time it was Dr. Sarah Kim, Tesla's current head of software development. Tom Richards had left the company 8 months ago. "Dr. Kim, I need you to check something for me. Software version 2.4.7 from March 2022. Was there a reported bug about acceleration problems? Let me look." Elon could hear her typing on her computer. "Yes, there was." Dr. Lisa Park filed several reports about it. The bug was patched in version 2.48, released 2 weeks later. How many cars had the affected software? 847 vehicles. The exact number Dr. Park had mentioned in her recording. Elon felt sick to his stomach. "Dr. Kim, were there any accidents involving cars with version 2? More typing. "I'm seeing one serious accident. A Model S in California. The driver was killed when the car accelerated into oncoming traffic." "What was the driver's name?" "Sarah Chen." Elon closed his eyes. "Send me everything you have on that bug and the Chen accident." Everything. An hour later, Jennifer Walsh arrived with a thick folder of legal documents. She looked nervous as she set it on Elon's desk. "Elon, the Chen settlement was handled carefully. We paid the family $2 million and covered all funeral expenses. The case was closed properly. But the brother never signed the non-disclosure agreement. No. He was too upset to participate in the settlement talks. We offered him the same deal later, but he refused our calls." Elon opened the folder and read through the settlement documents. Tesla had paid Sarah's parents and her daughter Emma, but Marcus had gotten nothing. The family had been required to stay quiet about the accident details, but Marcus was never bound by that agreement. Jennifer, there's something I need to know. Was Tesla actually at fault for Sarah Chen's death? Jennifer looked uncomfortable. Our insurance company handled the claim. They determined that driver error was the primary cause. That's not what I asked. Was Tesla at fault? The autopilot system was working as designed. The accident was classified as unavoidable. But there was a software bug that could cause acceleration problems. Jennifer was quiet for too long. How do you know about that? Because the dead woman's brother spent 2 years investigating. He has Dr. Park's reports and recordings of management meetings where safety concerns were ignored. Elon, you need to be very careful here. If this information becomes public, it could expose Tesla to massive lawsuits. Every family affected by an autopilot accident would sue us. Elon stood up and walked to the window again. Outside, SpaceX engineers were already at work on the Starship launch pad. Good people trying to build a better future. Just like Sarah Chen had been. What happened to Dr. Park? Elon asked. She left Tesla 6 months after the Chen accident. I heard she moved out of state. Why did she leave? I don't know. You'd have to ask Tom Richards. He was her manager. Elon tried calling Tom Richards, but the number was disconnected. He tried Tom's LinkedIn profile, but it hadn't been updated in months. It was like Tom had disappeared completely. At 9:30 a.m., Elon drove to the Motel 6 on Highway 4. Room 127 was at the end of a long row of identical doors. The parking lot was mostly empty except for a few old cars and a food truck selling breakfast tacos. Elon knocked on the door. Marcus opened it immediately, like he had been waiting. You came, Marcus said. I need to know everything. The real story, not just what's in those documents. Marcus invited Elon inside. The motel room was small and plain, with 2 beds and a TV that looked 20 years old. Marcus's laptop was open on the table, surrounded by more papers and folders. I've been living like this for 6 months, Marcus said. Driving around the country, talking to former Tesla employees, trying to piece together what really happened. Marcus showed Elon a map on his laptop. Red dots marked cities where he had found former Tesla workers willing to talk. Dr. Park isn't the only one who tried to report safety problems. I found 12 other engineers who left Tesla after their concerns were ignored or they were told to stay quiet. Where are they now? Most of them work for other companies and don't want to talk publicly. They're scared of being sued or blacklisted from the tech industry. Marcus opened a new folder and pulled out more documents. But I found one person who's willing to on record. Dr. Elena Rodriguez. She worked on Tesla's crash investigation team until last year. What does she know? She knows that Tesla's legal team had a policy of settling accident cases quickly and quietly, even when the evidence suggested the cars were at fault. They would rather pay families a few $1,000,000 than admit there were problems with the technology. Elon read through Dr. Rodriguez's statement. She described a pattern of cover-ups and intimidation tactics designed to protect Tesla's reputation. This makes it sound like Tesla was deliberately hiding safety problems. Not Tesla, the company, but some people inside Tesla, yes. People who cared more about stock prices than human lives. Marcus pulled out his phone and showed Elon a voicemail message from an unknown number. I got this call 3 weeks ago, right after I talked to Dr. Rodriguez. The voice on the message was electronically distorted, but the words were clear. Stop digging into things that don't concern you. Some secrets are meant to stay buried. Have you been threatened before? Twice. Once someone broke into my apartment and trashed my research. Another time I found my car tires slashed. But I keep going because Emma needs me to find the truth. Elon looked at a photo of Emma on Marcus's laptop. She was in a hospital bed, smiling despite the medical equipment around her. Her eyes were bright and curious, full of the same intelligence Elon remembered from the SpaceX launch events. The experimental treatment in Switzerland, Elon said. How much time does she have? The doctors say we need to start treatment within 6 months for it to be effective. Emma's disease is progressing faster than they expected. Marcus closed his laptop and looked directly at Elon. I know what I'm asking is huge. $2 million is a lot of money, even for you. But Emma is the most important thing in my life. She's all I have left of Sarah. Elon thought about his own children. and how he would feel if one of them was sick and he couldn't afford treatment. He thought about Sarah Chen driving home from work, trusting her Tesla to keep her safe. He thought about Dr. Park trying to warn people and being told to stay quiet. "I'll pay for Emma's treatment," Elon said quietly. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. Thank you so much. But I need something from you in return. Anything. I need you to help me find Dr. Park. If someone threatened her into silence, I want to know who, and I want to make sure no other families go through what you and Emma have been through." Marcus nodded. "Dr. Park is hiding in Northern California. I know where. Then let's go find her." As they prepared to leave the motel room, Marcus asked the question that had been bothering him all night. "Elon, why are you helping me? You could just pay me to stay quiet and pretend this never happened." Elon looked at the photo of Emma one more time. Because Sarah was right. Technology should make the world better, not just make rich people richer. And because Emma deserves to grow up and become that astronaut she dreams about being. The drive to Northern California took 8 hours. Elon and Marcus traveled in Elon's Tesla Model X. The irony not lost on either of them. Marcus sat in the passenger seat, watching the landscape change from Texas desert to California mountains. "Tell me about Emma," Elon said as they passed through Bakersfield. "What's she like?" Marcus smiled for the first time since Elon had met him. "She's brilliant, just like Sarah was. She builds robots out of old computer parts and dreams about designing spacecraft. Last month she created a Mars habitat model for her science class. Does she know about her condition? We told her 6 months ago when the symptoms started getting worse. She took it better than I did." Marcus pulled out his phone and showed Elon a video. This is from last week. In the video, Emma was sitting at a kitchen table working on homework. Her hands shook slightly as she wrote, but she kept going. When she finished, she looked at the camera and grinned. "Uncle Marcus, I finished my math homework. All the problems about rocket trajectories. Someday I'm going to calculate real trajectories for SpaceX." The video ended. Marcus wiped his eyes. The shaking in her hands started 3 months ago. It's getting worse every week. Soon it will affect her speech and her ability to walk. Elon thought about his own children and how devastating it would be to watch them suffer. What was Sarah like as a mother? Amazing. She worked as an environmental engineer during the day and helped Emma with science projects at night. Sarah always said Emma was going to change the world somehow. They stopped for gas in Fresno. While Elon filled the tank, Marcus called Emma to check on her. She was staying with Sarah's parents in Austin, while Marcus searched for Dr. Park. "Hi, Uncle Marcus. Grandma made pancakes for breakfast. Are you still on your important trip?" "Yes, sweetheart. I'm getting closer to finding the medicine that will make you better. I've been reading about gene therapy on the internet. It sounds really cool, like science fiction, but real." Marcus's voice got thick with emotion. "You're going to be fine, Emma, I promise." "I know. You always keep your promises." After Marcus hung up, Elon could see how much the conversation had affected him. The weight of being responsible for a sick child was written all over Marcus's face. "How long have you been taking care of her?" Elon asked. "Since Sarah died. Her grandparents help. But Emma lives with me. She's my whole world now." They reached Dr. Park's location just before sunset. She was hiding in a small cabin near Lake Tahoe, working under a fake name at a local electronics repair shop. Marcus had tracked her down through a former coworker who stayed in touch. The cabin was tiny and isolated, surrounded by tall pine trees. Dr. Park answered the door wearing jeans and a flannel shirt, looking nothing like the polished engineer she had been at Tesla. "Marcus, how did you find me?" "Jenny Williams told me where you were. She's worried about you." Dr. Park looked past Marcus and saw Elon standing by the car. Her face went pale. "You brought him here? Are you crazy? Do you know what they'll do to me if they find out I talked to you?" "Who are they?" Elon asked, walking closer to the cabin. Dr. Park looked terrified. "The people who made it very clear that I should disappear and stay quiet about what I know." She reluctantly let them inside. The cabin was basic but clean, with a fireplace and simple furniture. Dr. Park's laptop was open on a small table, showing code for some kind of repair diagnostic program. "I've been having nightmares for 2 years," Dr. Park said, sitting heavily in a chair. "Every night I see that woman's car speeding into traffic. Sarah Chen. I could have saved her if they had just listened to me. Elon sat across from her. Tell me exactly what happened. I discovered the acceleration bug during routine testing in February 2022. The problem was in the autopilot's emergency response system. When certain sensors got confused signals, the car would accelerate instead of braking. How many cars were affected? 847 vehicles with software version 2.4.7. I ran the numbers over and over. The bug would only trigger under very specific conditions, but when it did, it was deadly. Dr. Park showed them her original bug report on her laptop. The technical details were complex, but the conclusion was clear. The software could kill people. I reported it immediately to Tom Richards. He said they would fix it in the next update. But then the lawyers got involved. What lawyers? Tesla's legal team. They said pushing an emergency software update would look suspicious. Reporters would ask questions about what was so urgent. The stock price might drop. Dr. Park's hands were shaking as she talked. Tom told me to wait until after the quarterly earnings call. He said 2 weeks wouldn't matter. But I knew better. I knew someone would die. Marcus leaned forward. So you made the recording. I called Tom one more time, trying to make him understand how serious this was. I recorded the call because I was starting to think they might try to blame me later if something went wrong. And then Sarah died. Dr. Park started crying. 12 days later, her car had the exact software version I had warned about. The autopilot engaged on Highway 101, got confused by road construction signals, and accelerated instead of braking. Elon felt sick. Tesla's legal strategy had directly caused Sarah's death. The company he had built to save the environment had killed a woman because executives were worried about stock prices. Why did you leave Tesla? Elon asked. Because 3 days after Sarah's accident, Tom Richards called me into his office. He said the company was conducting an internal investigation and I needed to delete all my files related to the acceleration bug. Did you delete them? I was going to, but then I got a call from Sarah's brother. Marcus was asking questions about the accident. He suspected something was wrong with the car. I realized I might be the only person who could tell him the truth. Dr. Park showed them a folder on her laptop labeled Sarah Chen Evidence. It contained all her original bug reports, test data, and email exchanges with Tesla management. I copied everything before I deleted the official files. Then I quit and left California. But someone found you anyway, Marcus said. Dr. Park nodded. 6 months ago, I got a visit from 2 men in suits. They said they represented Tesla's legal interests. They told me that if I ever talked about the acceleration bug, I would face serious consequences. What kind of consequences? They didn't say exactly, but they knew where I worked, where I lived, what I bought at the grocery store. They made it clear they were watching me. Elon was getting angry. Who were these men? Did they show you identification? They said they were from a private security firm called Blackstone Protective Services. They gave me a business card. Dr. Park pulled out her wallet and showed them a black business card with silver lettering. Elon had never heard of Blackstone Protective Services, but the card looked professional and expensive. Have they contacted you since then? No, but I know they're still watching. I changed my name, moved here, and took a job that pays minimum wage. I'm terrified to use my real skills because someone might recognize my work. Marcus showed Dr. Park the photo of Emma in the hospital. This is Sarah's daughter. She's dying from Huntington's disease. She needs experimental treatment that costs $2 million. Dr. Park stared at the photo. She looks just like Sarah did at that age. If you help us expose the truth about the acceleration bug, Elon has agreed to pay for Emma's treatment, but we need you to go public with what you know. Dr. Park was quiet for a long time. Outside, the sun was setting behind the mountains, casting long shadows across the lake. If I do this, those men will come back. They might do worse than just threaten me. I'll protect you, Elon said. I have my own security team. And once the story is public, it will be too late for them to silence you. What about my career? If I become known as a whistleblower, no tech company will ever hire me again. I'll hire you, Elon said immediately. Tesla needs people like you who put safety first. I'll create a new position for you leading an independent safety review board. Dr. Park looked at the photo of Emma again. A 10-year-old girl who reminded her of the woman whose death had haunted her dreams for 2 years. Okay, she said finally, I'll help you, but I want something in return. What? Marcus asked. I want to meet Emma. I want to tell her about her mother's work as an environmental engineer. Sarah was trying to make the world cleaner and safer for kids like Emma. She deserves to know that. Marcus smiled through his tears. Emma would love that. She's always asking me about her mom's job. As they prepared to leave the cabin, Dr. Park packed her laptop and the evidence files. She was scared, but determined to finally do the right thing. There's something else you need to know, she said as they reached the car. The acceleration bug wasn't the only safety problem Tesla covered up. I know about at least 3 other cases where engineers tried to report serious issues and were told to stay quiet. Elon stopped walking. What other cases? Battery fires in Model Y vehicles. Autopilot problems in parking garages. And something involving SpaceX rocket engines that could have killed astronauts. The revelation hit Elon like a punch to the stomach. The safety problems went beyond Tesla. They infected his entire business empire. As they drove away from the cabin, Elon realized that helping Emma was just the beginning. They had uncovered a conspiracy of silence that could have killed dozens of people. Now they had to decide how far they were willing to go to expose the truth. They drove through the night back to Austin. Dr. Park sat in the back seat with her laptop, showing Elon and Marcus additional evidence she had been collecting for 2 years. The car was quiet, except for the hum of the electric motor and the occasional gasp when they discovered something new. Look at this, Dr. Park said, opening another file. This is from Tesla's internal accident database. 3 other families settled quietly after their cars had the same acceleration problem as Sarah's. Elon pulled over at a rest stop so he could read the documents properly. Each case was similar. A Tesla would suddenly accelerate when it should have braked. People died or were seriously injured. Tesla's lawyers would quickly offer settlement money in exchange for silence. The Patterson family in Oregon, Dr. Park read from her screen. Their Model 3 accelerated through a school crosswalk. Thankfully, no children were hit, but Mr. Patterson ended up in the hospital for 3 months. What did Tesla tell them? Marcus asked. Same thing they told your family. Driver error. The settlement agreement required them to say publicly that the accident was their fault, not Tesla's. Elon felt anger building in his chest. How many people knew about this pattern? Tom Richards knew. The legal team knew. And probably some executives above Tom, but I don't know who. They reached Austin at sunrise. Instead of going to separate hotels, Elon suggested they all stay at his Austin house so they could work together safely. Dr. Park was nervous about being so visible, but Marcus convinced her that staying together was their best protection. Elon's Austin house was smaller than his Boca Chica compound, but still impressive. It had a home office with multiple computers and secure internet connections. Dr. Park immediately started transferring her evidence files to Elon's encrypted servers. We need to be systematic about this, Elon said, spreading papers across a large conference table. If we're going to expose the truth, we need to have all our facts straight. Marcus called Emma's grandparents to let them know he was back in Austin. Emma was excited to hear that Uncle Marcus had found the people who could help her get better. Can I meet the lady engineer who's going to help us? Emma asked over the phone. Yes, sweetheart. Her name is Dr. Park. She knew your mom from work. Really? Can she tell me stories about mommy? Marcus looked at Dr. Park, who nodded with tears in her eyes. Yes, she has lots of stories to tell you. While Marcus talked to Emma, Elon and Dr. Park worked on organizing the evidence. They created a timeline showing how Tesla's management repeatedly chose profits over safety. February 2022. Dr. Park discovers the acceleration bug and reports it. March 2022, Tesla management decides to delay the fix until after earnings. March 15, 2022, Sarah Chen dies in the exact type of accident Dr. Park warned about. March 22, 2022. Tesla's quarterly earnings call shows record profits. March 29, 2022, Tesla quietly releases software update 2.4. They knew for 3 weeks that people could die, Elon said, staring at the timeline. And they chose to wait because bad news might hurt the stock price. Dr. Park showed him email exchanges between Tom Richards and Tesla's legal team. The lawyers were clearly more worried about lawsuits than human lives. Here's what really makes me angry, Dr. Park said, pointing to one email. Tom writes, we can always settle accident cases quietly. It's cheaper than admitting fault and facing mass lawsuits. Elon had built Tesla to save the planet from climate change. But somewhere along the way, the company had become the kind of corporation that treated human lives as acceptable losses. "What about the SpaceX problems you mentioned?" Elon asked. Dr. Park opened another folder. This one is more recent. Last year, a SpaceX engineer named David Martinez reported problems with the Raptor rocket engines. Fuel pressure readings that could cause explosions. What happened to his report? Same thing that happened to mine. Management told him to wait until after a big NASA presentation. They didn't want any safety concerns affecting the contract negotiations. Elon remembered the presentation Dr. Park was talking about. SpaceX had won a $3 billion contract to build rockets for NASA's moon missions. The announcement had sent SpaceX's valuation up by 20%. 2 weeks after the NASA contract was signed, a Starship prototype exploded during testing. Dr. Park continued. The official report blamed unexpected engine pressurization issues. But David's warnings had predicted exactly that type of failure. Where is David Martinez now? He was transferred to a different project and told not to discuss the engine problems with anyone. But I stayed in touch with him through a private email account. Dr. Park showed Elon messages from David, describing how frustrated he was that his safety concerns were being ignored. The last message was from 6 months ago. David stopped responding to my emails after that. I think something happened to him. Elon immediately called SpaceX's Human Resources Department to ask about David Martinez. The response was troubling. David Martinez no longer works for SpaceX. The HR representative said, "I can't provide any additional information about former employees. When did he leave? I'm not authorized to discuss personnel matters." Elon hung up and called his assistant at SpaceX. "Find out everything you can about David Martinez, former engine engineer. I need to know where he is and why he left the company." While they waited for information about David, Marcus's phone rang. It was Emma's doctor in Austin. "Mr. Chen? I have some concerning news about Emma's latest test results." Marcus put the phone on speaker so everyone could hear. "Her condition is progressing faster than we expected. The tremors in her hands are getting worse, and we're starting to see early signs of cognitive changes." "What does that mean?" Marcus asked, his voice shaking. "It means we need to start the experimental treatment as soon as possible. I'd recommend beginning within the next month, not 6 months as we originally planned." Dr. Park watched Marcus's face go pale. She could see the panic in his eyes as he realized time was running out even faster than they thought. "Doctor, how quickly can we arrange treatment in Switzerland? If you can guarantee payment, I can have Emma admitted to the clinic within 2 weeks." After hanging up, Marcus sat down heavily in a chair. The weight of everything, Sarah's death, Emma's illness, the evidence they had uncovered, seemed to crush down on him all at once. "We're running out of time," he said quietly. Elon made a decision that surprised everyone, including himself. "Then, we do this fast, and we do it right. Dr. Park, I want you to prepare a complete report of everything Tesla and SpaceX covered up. Marcus, I want you to help coordinate with other families who were affected. We're going to expose all of it. That could destroy both companies," Dr. Park warned. "Maybe. But continuing to hide the truth could kill more people like Sarah. And Emma deserves to grow up in a world where technology companies actually care about the people they serve." Elon pulled out his phone and started making calls. First to his lawyers, then to his public relations team, then to journalists he trusted. "What are you doing?" Marcus asked. "I'm calling a press conference for tomorrow. We're going to tell the world everything we know. The safety cover-ups, the threats against Dr. Park, the pattern of putting profits before people." Dr. Park looked terrified. "Elon, if we do this, there's no going back. The people who threaten me will be furious." "Good. Let them be furious. I'm tired of being afraid of my own employees." Marcus stared at Elon in amazement. "You're really going to risk everything to help Emma?" "I'm not just helping Emma. I'm helping every family who might be affected by future safety problems." Sarah believed technology should make the world better. It's time we lived up to that belief. As Elon continued making phone calls, Dr. Park and Marcus worked together to prepare their evidence for public release. They organized documents, prepared summaries, and created visual presentations that would be easy for reporters to understand. "There's one more thing," Dr. Park said quietly. I think I know who's behind the cover-ups. It's not just Tom Richards or random executives. There's someone higher up who's been coordinating the silence. Who? Elon asked, looking up from his phone. I'm not sure yet, but I have emails that suggest someone was giving orders to multiple department heads across both Tesla and SpaceX. Someone with enough power to threaten engineers and cover up safety problems in 2 different companies. Can you figure out who it is? Give me a few hours with these email headers and I might be able to trace the communication patterns. As Dr. Park worked on her computer analysis, Marcus received a text message from an unknown number. Stop what you're doing or Emma will never make it to Switzerland. Marcus showed the message to Elon and Dr. Park. The threat was clear and direct. They know what we're planning, Dr. Park said, her face going pale. How is that possible? Marcus asked. Elon looked at his phone, suddenly realizing the implications. Someone's been monitoring our communications. They know we're together, and they know we're preparing to go public. As if to confirm his fears, all 3 of their phones buzzed simultaneously with new messages from the same unknown number. The press conference tomorrow is cancelled. Dr. Park returns to hiding. Mr. Chen takes his niece and disappears. Mr. Musk stays quiet. Everyone lives happily ever after. The final message was accompanied by a photo that made everyone's blood run cold. It showed Emma at her school playground, unaware that someone was watching her. They have people near Emma, Marcus whispered. Elon stood up and started pacing. This changes everything. We can't put Emma in danger. But if we back down now, nothing changes, Dr. Park said. More people will die because safety problems get covered up. Marcus stared at the photo of Emma on his phone. His niece was smiling and playing with friends, completely innocent of the danger surrounding her. I can't risk Emma's life, he said finally. She's all I have left. But then Marcus remembered something Emma had said during their phone call that morning. Uncle Marcus, you always keep your promises. He had promised Emma he would make her better. But he had also promised Sarah, at her funeral, he would find the truth about her death. No, Marcus said, his voice getting stronger. We don't back down. We find a way to protect Emma and expose the truth at the same time. How? Dr. Park asked. Marcus looked at Elon. You have security people, right? People who can keep Emma safe while we do what needs to be done? Elon nodded. The best in the business. Then let's call them, and let's make sure whoever is threatening us knows that we're not afraid anymore. As they prepared to take on the most powerful forces in the tech industry, none of them knew that the biggest revelation was yet to come. The person coordinating the cover-ups was someone none of them suspected. And the real reason for silencing Dr. Park and Marcus was darker than they had imagined. Elon's security team arrived within 2 hours. 6 professional bodyguards in black suits surrounded Emma's school and her grandparents' house. Emma thought it was exciting to have Secret Service people protecting her, not knowing that her life was in real danger. While the security team worked, Dr. Park continued analyzing the email patterns from Tesla and SpaceX. She had been staring at her computer screen for 3 hours when she suddenly went very quiet. I found something, she said, her voice barely a whisper. Marcus and Elon gathered around her laptop. Dr. Park had created a chart showing email communications between different Tesla and SpaceX executives over the past 3 years. Look at this pattern, she said, pointing to red lines connecting various names. Every time a safety report was buried or an engineer was silenced, these emails show communication with one specific person. Who? Elon asked. Dr. Park hesitated before answering. Jennifer Walsh, your head of legal. Elon stared at the screen in disbelief. Jennifer had worked for him for 8 years. She had helped him navigate countless legal challenges. He trusted her completely. That's impossible. Jennifer would never... Look at the evidence, Dr. Park interrupted. Every cover-up decision went through her office. She's the one who coordinated the settlements with accident families. She's the one who hired Blackstone Protective Services. Marcus studied the email chains. It makes sense. She would have access to information from both Tesla and SpaceX. She could coordinate cover-ups across both companies. But why? Elon asked. Jennifer makes millions of dollars. Why would she risk everything to hide safety problems? Dr. Park opened another file on her computer. Because she wasn't just hiding safety problems. She was selling information to Tesla's competitors. The evidence was devastating. Jennifer had been secretly working with automotive companies that competed with Tesla. Every time Tesla discovered a safety problem, Jennifer would quietly sell that information to other car makers. The competitors could use Tesla's problems to make their own cars look safer. Marcus realized. They could also prepare better legal defenses if similar problems affected their vehicles. And if Tesla's safety reputation was destroyed, competitors would benefit enormously. Dr. Park added. Elon felt sick. One of his most trusted employees had been betraying him for years. But worse than the betrayal was realizing how many people had died because of Jennifer's actions. She's the one who told Tom Richards to delay fixing the acceleration bug, Elon said slowly. She wanted Tesla to look bad so competitors could gain market share. And when I tried to expose the truth, she hired Blackstone to threaten me into silence, Dr. Park said. Marcus was getting angry. She's the reason Sarah is dead, she's the reason Emma is sick and scared. Elon pulled out his phone to call Jennifer, but Dr. Park stopped him. Wait. If we confront her now, she'll destroy evidence and disappear. We need to be smart about this. What do you suggest? We set a trap. Make her think we're backing down from the press conference. Get her to reveal more about what she's been doing. They spent an hour planning their approach. Elon would call Jennifer and tell her they had decided to cancel the press conference because of the threats against Emma. He would ask for her legal advice about how to handle the situation quietly. If she really is behind the cover-ups, she'll want to make sure we stay quiet permanently, Marcus said. She might reveal information about her network or her plans. Elon made the call while Dr. Park recorded everything on her laptop. Jennifer, we have a problem. Someone is threatening Marcus Chen's niece to keep us quiet about the Tesla safety issues. That's terrible, Elon. Do you know who's making the threats? No, but they seem to know everything we're doing. They knew we were planning a press conference. There was a pause. Jennifer's voice sounded different when she spoke again. More careful. Maybe it's better if you cancel the press conference. These safety issues are complicated, and rushing to make them public could hurt both Tesla and SpaceX. You think we should stay quiet? I think you should let me handle this legally. I can work with the Chen family to reach a settlement that satisfies everyone. Elon looked at Marcus and Dr. Park. Jennifer was definitely involved in the cover-up. What kind of settlement? Elon asked. Something generous. Enough money for the little girl's medical treatment, plus compensation for the family's pain and suffering. In exchange, they agree never to discuss Tesla's internal business practices. What about Dr. Park? She has evidence of safety problems that were ignored. Another pause. Dr. Park needs to understand that going public would hurt a lot of innocent people. Tesla employs thousands of workers. If the company's reputation is destroyed, those people lose their jobs. So you think everyone should just stay quiet? I think everyone should be practical. The past can't be changed, but the future can be protected. After hanging up, they sat in silence for several minutes. Jennifer's responses had confirmed their suspicions, but they still needed more proof. She's definitely coordinating the cover-up, Dr. Park said, but she's being careful not to admit anything directly. Marcus's phone buzzed with a new text message. This time it wasn't a threat. It was from David Martinez, the SpaceX engineer who had disappeared months ago. I saw the news reports about Tesla safety problems. I need to talk to someone. I have information about SpaceX cover-ups too. Meet me at the Riverside Diner on Highway 183 at 8 p.m. Come alone. It's a trap, Dr. Park said immediately. If Jennifer is behind everything, she could be using David to lure us into danger. Or David has been hiding just like you were, Marcus countered. Maybe he finally decided to come forward. Elon studied the message. There's only one way to find out, but we're not going alone. They decided that Marcus would meet David while Elon and Dr. Park stayed nearby with the security team. If it was a trap, they would be ready. If David was genuine, they would finally have a witness from inside SpaceX. The Riverside Diner was a small restaurant popular with truck drivers and shift workers. At 8 p.m., it was busy enough to provide cover, but not so crowded that they couldn't have a private conversation. Marcus arrived first and chose a booth in the back corner. David Martinez appeared exactly on time, looking nervous and tired. He was a thin man in his 30s with dark hair and worried eyes. "Are you Marcus Chen?" David asked, sliding into the booth across from Marcus. "Yes." Are you really David Martinez? David pulled out his old SpaceX employee ID card as proof. I've been hiding in New Mexico for 6 months, living in a trailer park and working construction jobs. Why are you hiding? Because I tried to report a safety problem that could have killed astronauts. And Jennifer Walsh made it very clear that my career and my life would be over if I didn't stay quiet. Marcus felt his heart racing. Tell me everything. David explained that he had discovered fuel pressure problems in the Raptor rocket engines during testing last year. The readings suggested that engines could explode during launch, potentially killing anyone aboard the spacecraft. I reported it to my supervisor, who sent it up the chain to Jennifer Walsh's office. 3 days later, I was called into a meeting with Jennifer and 2 men I'd never seen before. What did they tell you? Jennifer said the engine readings were within acceptable parameters, and I was overreacting. The 2 men said that if I continued to spread false information about SpaceX safety, I could face criminal charges for sabotaging government contracts. Criminal charges? They said reporting fake safety problems could be considered terrorism because it threatened national security. They had lawyers and documents ready to destroy my life. Marcus thought about Dr. Park hiding in her cabin, terrified of the same kind of threats. But you were right about the engine problems. 2 weeks later, a Starship prototype exploded during testing. The official report blamed unexpected engine failure, but it was exactly what I had predicted. David pulled out a folder of documents he had hidden before leaving SpaceX. I copied all my test data and safety reports before they made me delete the official files. As Marcus looked through David's evidence, he realized the scope of Jennifer's conspiracy was even larger than they had imagined. She hadn't just covered up problems at Tesla. She had been systematically hiding safety issues across all of Elon's companies. There's something else, David said. I think Jennifer has been working with people outside the company, foreign agents or corporate spies, someone who wants to see American space technology fail. What makes you think that? One of the men who threatened me had an accent. Russian, maybe. And some of the questions they asked weren't about keeping SpaceX secrets. They were about learning SpaceX secrets. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. If David was right, Jennifer wasn't just covering up safety problems for money. She might be selling American space technology to foreign governments. Why are you coming forward now? Marcus asked. Because I heard about your niece, the little girl who needs medical treatment. I have a daughter too. She's 8 years old. David's voice got emotional. I can't stay quiet anymore knowing that my silence might hurt innocent people. Marcus showed David a photo of Emma from his phone. Her name is Emma. She wants to be an astronaut someday. Then let's make sure she gets that chance. As they prepared to leave the diner, David grabbed Marcus's arm. There's one more thing you need to know. Jennifer Walsh isn't working alone inside the companies. She has help from other executives who are paid to keep quiet about safety problems. Who? I don't know all the names, but I know she has at least 3 other people at Tesla and 2 at SpaceX who help coordinate the cover-ups. Marcus realized they weren't just fighting one corrupt lawyer. They were fighting a network of conspirators who had infiltrated Elon's companies at the highest levels. When Marcus returned to Elon's house with David's evidence, Dr. Park immediately started analyzing the new documents. What she found made everyone realize the situation was far more dangerous than they had imagined. According to David's test data, the engine problems at SpaceX could affect the next crewed mission to the International Space Station, Dr. Park said. If those engines fail during launch, astronauts could die. When is the next crewed mission? Elon asked. Dr. Park checked SpaceX's public schedule. 3 weeks from today. The room went silent. They weren't just trying to get justice for Sarah and treatment for Emma anymore. They were racing to prevent a potential disaster that could kill astronauts and destroy America's space program. We have to stop that launch, Marcus said. If we're wrong, we'll destroy SpaceX's reputation and cost the company billions of dollars. Elon replied. And if we're right but we don't act, people will die. Dr. Park added. As they debated their options, none of them noticed the small listening device hidden under Elon's conference table. Jennifer Walsh was hearing every word they said, and she was already planning her response. Jennifer Walsh sat in her downtown Austin office at midnight, listening to every word through her hidden microphone. She had planted the listening device in Elon's conference room months ago, claiming it was for legal protection during sensitive business meetings. Now she heard Marcus, Elon, and Dr. Park planning to expose everything. Worse, they had found David Martinez and discovered the SpaceX engine problems. Jennifer's carefully built network was falling apart. She picked up her encrypted phone and made a call to Moscow. "They know about the rocket engines," she said in perfect Russian. "And they're planning to stop the next launch." The voice on the other end was cold and angry. "You promised us this technology transfer would go smoothly. Now you're telling me years of work might be wasted? I can still salvage this, but I need to move faster than planned. What do you propose?" Jennifer looked at a photo on her desk showing Emma at her school playground. The same photo that had been sent to Marcus as a threat. The girl is the key. If something happens to her, Chen will be too distracted by grief to pursue the investigation. And Musk will feel guilty enough to stay quiet. You're talking about killing a child. I'm talking about protecting a billion-dollar operation. Emma Chen is gonna die anyway from her disease. We would just be speeding up the timeline. The Russian voice was quiet for a moment. "Do what you must, but make it look natural." After hanging up, Jennifer called her contact at Blackstone Protective Services. The company wasn't just a security sermon. It was a front for international corporate espionage funded by foreign governments who wanted to steal American technology. "I need you to handle the Chen situation permanently," she told the Blackstone operative. "Make it look like a medical emergency." Meanwhile, at Elon's house, the team was working through the night. They had decided to split their efforts. Marcus would focus on getting Emma to Switzerland safely. Dr. Park would prepare all the evidence for public release. Elon would handle the SpaceX launch postponement. "The hardest part will be convincing NASA to delay the launch," Elon said. "They've been planning this mission for 2 years. Show them David's engine data," Dr. Park suggested. "The pressure readings clearly indicate potential failure points." David was hunched over his laptop, double-checking his calculations. The engine could explode anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes after launch. If it happens while the crew is still in Earth's atmosphere, they won't have time to escape. Marcus thought about the astronauts who were scheduled to fly in 3 weeks. They had families, children, dreams of exploring space, just like Sarah had dreams of helping the environment and Emma had dreams of reaching Mars. "We have to stop that launch," Marcus said firmly. "I won't let more people die because of cover-ups." At 2 a.m., Elon's security chief knocked on the office door. His face was grim. "Sir, we have a problem. 3 of our agents at Emma's location have stopped responding to radio calls." Everyone in the room went cold. Marcus grabbed his phone and tried calling Emma's grandparents. No answer. "We need to get there now," Marcus said, jumping up from his chair. "Wait," the security chief said. "I've already sent a backup team. They should arrive in 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes felt like hours. Marcus paced the room while Dr. Park and David continued working on the evident files. Elon coordinated with his security teams and tried to reach local police. Finally, the security chief's radio crackled to life. "Alpha team reporting. The house is secure. Family is safe. But we found 3 unconscious security agents in the backyard. They appear to have been drugged." Marcus collapsed into a chair with relief. Emma was safe. But barely. "This proves Jennifer is willing to hurt innocent people," Dr. Park said. "We can't wait any longer to expose her." Elon made a decision that would change everything. "I'm calling an emergency meeting with NASA's administrator. We're stopping that launch and we're telling the world why. Jennifer will fight back," David warned. "She has lawyers, money, and connections in high places. Let her fight. We have the truth." At sunrise, Elon, Marcus, and Dr. Park drove to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. David stayed behind to continue analyzing the engine data and prepare additional evidence. The NASA administrator, Dr. Rebecca Torres, was a serious woman who had worked in aerospace for 30 years. She listened carefully as Elon explained the situation. "You are asking me to postpone a billion-dollar mission based on the word of a former employee who's been hiding for 6 months?" Dr. Torres said. "I'm asking you to look at the evidence." Elon replied, handing her David's technical reports. Dr. Torres studied the engine pressure data. As a former rocket engineer herself, she understood immediately what the numbers meant. "These readings indicate serious instability in the fuel injection system," she said slowly. "That's exactly what David tried to report last year," Marcus added. But Tesla's legal team silenced him. SpaceX's legal team, Dr. Park corrected. Jennifer Walsh coordinates cover-ups across all of Elon's companies. Dr. Torres looked at Elon with surprise. Your own legal counsel has been hiding safety problems. For years, she's been selling our technology secrets to foreign competitors and covering up problems that could kill people. Dr. Torres picked up her phone and called NASA's chief safety officer. I need an immediate review of all SpaceX Raptor engine test data from the past 12 months. Yes, I know the launch is in 3 weeks. That's why this is urgent. While NASA began their safety review, Marcus received good news and bad news from Austin. The good news was that Emma's doctors had arranged for her to start treatment in Switzerland the following week. Elon had transferred the $2 million that morning. The bad news was that Jennifer Walsh had disappeared. Her office was empty. Her assistant said she had taken a sudden vacation, and her phone went straight to voicemail. She knows we're on to her, Dr. Park said. She's probably destroying evidence and preparing to flee the country. Or preparing to strike back, Marcus added. That afternoon, NASA's safety review confirmed David's warnings. The Raptor engines showed clear signs of potential failure that could be catastrophic during launch. The mission is postponed indefinitely, Dr. Torres announced at a press conference. We will not risk astronaut lives on questionable equipment. The news sent shockwaves through the aerospace industry. SpaceX's stock price dropped 20% in one day. But more importantly, 3 astronauts would go home to their families instead of potentially dying in space. As they drove back to Austin, Marcus got a call from Emma. She was excited about going to Switzerland, but worried about Uncle Marcus. The kids at school are saying bad things about SpaceX on the news, Emma said. Are you in trouble? No, sweetheart. We're just making sure rockets are safe before people fly in them. Like mommy wanted cars to be safe? Marcus's voice caught in his throat, exactly like that. I'm proud of you, Uncle Marcus. Mommy would be proud too. After hanging up, Marcus realized that Emma understood more than he had given her credit for. At 10 years old, she already knew that doing the right thing sometimes meant making difficult choices. When they reached Austin, Dr. Park had finished preparing a comprehensive report detailing 3 years of safety cover-ups across Tesla and SpaceX. The report included financial evidence showing Jennifer Walsh had received over $5 million in payments from foreign accounts. This is enough to put her in prison for the rest of her life, Dr. Park said. Corporate espionage, conspiracy, endangering public safety. If we can find her, Elon replied. As if summoned by their conversation, Elon's phone rang. The caller ID showed Jennifer Walsh. Hello, Elon. Jennifer's voice was calm and cold. I think it's time we had a final conversation. Where are you, Jennifer? Somewhere safe. But I wanted to congratulate you on stopping the NASA launch. Very heroic of you. You're done, Jennifer. We have evidence of everything you've done. Jennifer laughed. Evidence? You mean the files that Dr. Park stole from Tesla servers? Or the testimony of David Martinez, who violated his security clearance by copying classified SpaceX data? Elon realized Jennifer was building a legal defense that would paint them as the criminals. Here's what's going to happen, Jennifer continued. You're going to publicly announce that the NASA launch postponement was due to normal safety precautions, not any serious problems. Dr. Park is going to disappear again, this time permanently, and Marcus Chen is going to take his sick niece to Switzerland and never speak about Tesla accidents again. And if we refuse, then Emma Chen's treatment in Switzerland will be complicated. The doctors might discover that her condition is more serious than they thought. Medical emergencies happen all the time during experimental procedures. The threat was clear. Jennifer was willing to kill Emma to protect her secrets. You have 24 hours to decide, Jennifer said. Choose wisely. After she hung up, the room was silent for several minutes. They had evidence to expose Jennifer, but she still had the power to hurt Emma. We can't let her win, Dr. Park said finally. Too many people have died already. But we can't risk Emma's life, Marcus replied. Elon looked at both of them, then at the evidence files spread across his desk. Sarah Chen's foe smiled up at him from one of the documents. A woman who had believed technology could make the world better. There has to be another way, Elon said. We just have to be smarter than Jennifer. As they planned their next move, none of them knew that Jennifer Walsh was already on a private jet heading Switzerland. She wasn't just going to threaten Emma's treatment. She was going to handle the problem personally. The phone call came at 4 a.m. Marcus was jolted awake by Emma's grandfather calling from Austin. "Marcus, something's wrong. Emma collapsed in the bathroom an hour ago. We're at Dell Children's Hospital. The doctors say her condition is getting worse much faster than expected." Marcus's blood went cold. He woke up Elon and Dr. Park immediately. "Emma's in the hospital. Her grandfather thinks someone might have given her something to make her sicker." Within 2 hours, they were on Elon's private jet flying to Switzerland. Emma's treatment couldn't wait any longer. The doctors in Austin had stabilized her, but they said she needed to start gene therapy within 48 hours or the window for effective treatment would close forever. "This isn't a coincidence," Dr. Park said as they flew over the Atlantic Ocean. "Jennifer must have someone in Austin who poisoned Emma with something that mimics her disease symptoms." Elon was already coordinating with his security teams in Switzerland. "I've arranged for a full medical escort from the airport to the clinic. Emma will be protected every step of the way." Marcus held Emma's medical files in his hands, trying not to think about how weak she had looked when they carried her onto the plane. She was sleeping now, connected to IV tubes and monitoring equipment. At 10 years old, she looked so small and fragile. "Uncle Marcus," Emma whispered, opening her eyes. "Are we really going to Switzerland?" "Yes, sweetheart. Dr. Hoffman is going to help you feel better. Will you stay with me during the treatment? Every minute. I promise." Emma smiled and closed her eyes again. Marcus looked out the window at the clouds below and thought about Sarah. His sister had always been the strong one, the one who solved problems and took care of everyone. Now Marcus had to be strong for Emma. Dr. Park was working on her laptop, coordinating with journalists around the world. "I've sent our evidence files to reporters at the New York Times, Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal. Even if something happens to us in Switzerland, the truth will still come out." "What about the FBI?" Elon asked. "I contacted Agent Maria Rodriguez at the FBI's Corporate Crimes Division. She's opening an investigation into Jennifer Walsh for espionage and conspiracy. But it will take weeks to build a case." "Emma doesn't have weeks," Marcus said quietly. They landed in Zurich as the sun was rising over the Swiss Alps. The clinic was located 2 hours away in a small mountain town called Interlaken. Emma was immediately transferred to an ambulance with full medical support. As their convoy drove through the beautiful Swiss countryside, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Jennifer Walsh had money, connections, and foreign government support. She could have people anywhere. The Alpine Gene Therapy Clinic was a modern building nestled between snow-covered mountains. Dr. Elena Hoffman met them at the entrance with her medical team. She was a kind woman in her 50s who specialized in treating rare genetic diseases. "Welcome, Emma," Dr. Hoffman said in accented English. "We're going to take very good care of you." Emma was immediately taken to a special room where doctors ran extensive tests to determine the exact progression of her disease. The results were worse than expected. The Huntington's symptoms have accelerated dramatically in the past 24 hours, Dr. Hoffman explained to Marcus and Elon. "This is highly unusual. In most cases, the disease progresses slowly over months or years. Could someone have given her something to make it worse?" Marcus asked. Dr. Hoffman looked surprised. "Theoretically, yes. Certain toxins could mimic or accelerate Huntington's symptoms. But why would someone do that to a child?" Marcus explained about Jennifer Walsh and the threats against Emma. Dr. Hoffman's face grew serious. "If Emma has been poisoned, we need to identify the substance before we begin gene therapy. The wrong treatment could interact badly with toxins in her system." While doctors ran additional tests on Emma, Elon received disturbing news from his security team. Jennifer Walsh had landed in Zurich 3 hours before them. She was traveling under a false passport and had rented a car heading toward Interlaken. "She's coming here," Dr. Park said. "She's not going to threaten Emma from a distance anymore." Elon doubled the security around the clinic. Swiss police were notified about a potential threat, but they moved slowly because Jennifer had committed no crimes on Swiss soil. That evening, as Emma prepared for her first gene therapy treatment, Marcus got a call from David Martinez in Austin. "Marcus, I found something in Jennifer's office computer files. She's been planning to kill Emma for weeks. There are emails about making it look like a treatment complication." What kind of complication? The gene therapy uses modified viruses to deliver new DNA into Emma's cells. Jennifer has been in contact with someone who could sabotage the viral vectors to cause organ failure instead of healing. Marcus felt panic rising in his chest. You mean the treatment itself could kill her? If Jennifer gets to the lab equipment, yes. She could modify the gene therapy to be deadly instead of helpful. Marcus immediately told Dr. Hoffman about the threat. She ordered her staff to test all the gene therapy materials multiple times and to change all the security codes in the laboratory. No one enters the lab without my personal authorization, Dr. Hoffman announced to her team. Emma's life depends on keeping our equipment secure. But at midnight, the security cameras in the clinic's parking lot captured a figure in dark clothes approaching the Luling. Jennifer Walsh had arrived. Marcus couldn't sleep, so he sat beside Emma's bed watching her breathe. The gene therapy would begin in the morning, and everything depended on the equipment being safe. Uncle Marcus, Emma whispered in the dark. I'm scared about tomorrow. It's okay to be scared, sweetheart. But Dr. Hoffman is the best doctor in the world for this treatment. What if it doesn't work? Marcus took Emma's small hand in his. Then we'll try something else. I'm not giving up on you ever. Tell me about Mommy's work again. About how she wanted to save the environment. Marcus smiled and started telling Emma stories about Sarah's environmental engineering projects. How she designed systems to clean polluted water and reduce car emissions. How she believed technology could solve the world's biggest problems. Mommy sounds like she was really smart, Emma said. She was. And so are you. When you get better, maybe you can work on environmental problems too. Or maybe you'll design spaceships that don't pollute at all. I'd like that. As Emma drifted off to sleep, Marcus heard a commotion in the hallway. Security guards were running toward the laboratory wing of the clinic. Someone had tried to break into the gene therapy preparation room. Dr. Hoffman appeared in Emma's doorway, looking shaken. Someone attempted to access our laboratory. They got past the first security door but were stopped by our internal systems. Was it Jennifer Walsh? Marcus asked. We don't know. The person escaped before security could identify them. But we found this. Dr. Hoffman showed Marcus a small vial of clear liquid that had been dropped near the lab entrance. Our chemists are analyzing it now, but it appears to be a modified virus that could contaminate our gene therapy vectors. Marcus realized how close they had come to disaster. If Jennifer had successfully poisoned Emma's treatment, it would have killed her and made it look like a medical accident. What do we do now? Marcus asked. We move Emma to a different facility. I have colleagues at the University Hospital in Bern who can continue her treatment safely. As they prepared to transfer Emma in the middle of the night, Elon received a call from the FBI in Washington. Agent Rodriguez had urgent news. We've intercepted communications between Jennifer Walsh and her Russian contacts. They're planning something big for tomorrow morning. Not just targeting Emma, but a coordinated attack on multiple facilities. What kind of attack? We're not sure yet. But they've mentioned eliminating all witnesses and finishing the mission. You need to get out of Switzerland immediately. Marcus looked at Emma sleeping peacefully despite all the medical equipment around her. She needed the gene therapy to live, but staying in Switzerland might get them all killed. We can't leave, Marcus told Elon. Emma needs treatment now, not next week. Then we make our stand here, Elon replied. But we do it smart. Dr. Park had been quiet during the crisis, but now she spoke up with determination. I have an idea. What if we turn the tables on Jennifer? Instead of running from her, we use her own plan against her. What do you mean? Marcus asked. We let her think she's succeeded. We fake Emma's death from treatment complications. Then, while Jennifer believes she's won, we gather evidence to destroy her entire network. Marcus stared at Dr. Park in shock. You want to fake my niece's death? It's the only way to keep her truly safe. If Jennifer thinks Emma is dead, she'll stop hunting her and focus on covering up the other evidence. The idea was dangerous and heartbreaking, but it might be their only chance to protect Emma and expose the truth. As dawn approached over the Swiss mountains, they prepared for the most difficult deception of their lives. Emma would die during gene therapy treatment. Jennifer would believe she had won, and then they would reveal the truth to the world. But first, Emma had to survive the real gene therapy treatment that would save her life, and they had to do it while Jennifer Walsh and her team of killers were closing in on the clinic. At 6 a.m., the University Hospital in Bern was quiet. except for the hum of medical equipment. Emma had been secretly transferred there during the night, and Dr. Hoffman's team was preparing the gene therapy treatment in a secure laboratory. Marcus stood outside the treatment room, watching doctors through a window as they prepared the modified viruses that would hopefully save Emma's life. His hands were shaking, and he couldn't stop thinking about all the things that could go wrong. The treatment will take 4 hours, Dr. Hoffman explained. Emma will be sedated the entire time. The gene therapy works by delivering healthy DNA directly into her brain cells to stop the Huntington's disease from getting worse. What are the chances it will work? Marcus asked. Given her age and the early stage of the disease, I'd say 70% chance of stopping the progression completely, 30% chance of slowing it down significantly. And the chance something goes wrong? Dr. Hoffman paused. Less than 5%. But Marcus, any medical procedure carries risks, especially when we're working with modified viruses and genetic material. Elon approached with his phone in hand. FBI agent Rodriguez just called. They've tracked Jennifer Walsh to a hotel 15 minutes from here. She's not alone. They counted at least 4 other people with her. Professional killers, Dr. Park added grimly. The kind of people who make problems disappear permanently. Marcus looked through the window at Emma lying on the treatment table. She looked so small, surrounded by all the medical equipment. But she was brave, just like Sarah had been. Before the sedation, Emma had squeezed Marcus's hand and said, "Uncle Marcus, promise me something. If this doesn't work, promise you'll still try to help other sick kids like me. It's going to work, sweetheart. But promise me anyway." Marcus had promised, even though the words felt like knives in his throat. Now, as the gene therapy began, Marcus found himself thinking about that promise. Emma wasn't just fighting for her own life. She was fighting for every child who might face similar diseases in the future. "We need to prepare for Jennifer's arrival," Elon said. "My security team has surrounded the hospital, but Jennifer has proven she can get past professional protection." Dr. Park had been working on her laptop all morning. "I finished uploading all our evidence to a secure server. If something happens to us, the information will automatically be released to journalists and law enforcement agencies around the world." "What about the plan to fake Emma's death?" Marcus asked. "It's our backup option," Dr. Park replied. "If Jennifer gets too close to discovering Emma's location, we announce that the gene therapy failed and Emma died from complications. I don't like lying about Emma's death, even temporarily. Neither do I. But it might be the only way to keep her alive long enough for the FBI to arrest Jennifer." At 8 a.m., Dr. Hoffman came out of the treatment room with good news. The first phase of gene therapy is going perfectly. Emma's brain is accepting the modified DNA without any adverse reactions. Marcus felt relief wash over him. Emma was going to make it. But then the hospital's security alarms started ringing. Someone had breached the building's perimeter. Multiple intruders on the second floor, a security guard announced over the intercom. All medical staff should lock down their areas immediately. Marcus's heart started racing. Jennifer had found them. Elon grabbed his phone and called his security chief. "How many people are we dealing with?" "At least 5 armed individuals. They're moving toward the pediatric wing where Emma is being treated." Dr. Hoffman immediately ordered her medical team to continue Emma's treatment no matter what happened outside the room. "She's halfway through the gene therapy. If we stop now, the treatment will fail and she'll never get another chance." "How much longer?" Marcus asked. 2 more hours." Marcus made a decision that surprised everyone. "I'm going to face Jennifer myself. Keep Emma safe and finish the treatment. That's all that matters." "Marcus, you can't," Dr. Park protested. "Jennifer will kill you. Maybe. But if I can distract her long enough for Emma's treatment to finish, it will be worth it." Elon put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. "You're not going alone. We started this together and we'll finish it together. This isn't your fight, Elon." "Yes, it is. Jennifer betrayed my companies and used my technology to hurt innocent people. She killed your sister and tried to kill your niece. This is absolutely my fight." Dr. Park closed her laptop and stood up. "Count me in too. Sarah Chen died because I didn't fight hard enough for the truth 2 years ago. I won't make that mistake again." The 3 of them left the treatment area and walked toward the hospital's main lobby, where Jennifer's team was reportedly heading. Marcus thought about Emma lying unconscious while doctors worked to save her life. He thought about Sarah, who had believed technology could make the world better. And he thought about all the future children who might die if Jennifer's conspiracy succeeded. They found Jennifer Walsh in the hospital's main lobby, dressed in expensive clothes and surrounded by 4 men in dark suits. She looked calm and confident, like she was attending a business meeting instead of orchestrating a murder. "Hello, Elon," Jennifer said when she saw them approaching. "You should have accepted my offer yesterday. Now things have to get more complicated." "It's over, Jennifer. The FBI knows about your Russian contacts. NASA knows about the engine problems you covered up. The whole world is about to learn what you've been doing." Jennifer smiled coldly. "The FBI can't touch me. I have diplomatic immunity through my Russian connections. And as for NASA, well, accidents happen during space missions all the time." "You're talking about killing astronauts," Dr. Park said. "I'm talking about protecting valuable technology from falling into the wrong hands. American space technology shouldn't be used to threaten Russian interests." Marcus stepped forward. "What about Emma? She's just a 10-year-old girl. What threat could she possibly be to anyone?" "Emma is the daughter of someone who died because of Tesla's negligence. If she lives, she becomes a symbol of corporate accountability. People will rally around her story and demand stricter safety regulations. That kind of public pressure could cost my employers billions of dollars. So you decided to kill a child to protect corporate profits?" "I decided to eliminate a problem before it became unmanageable." Jennifer gestured to one of her men, who pulled out a gun. Hospital security guards were nowhere to be seen, probably disabled or threatened into staying away. "Here's what's going to happen," Jennifer continued. "You're going to take me to Emma's treatment room. I'm going to ensure the gene therapy has a fatal complication. Then you're all going to have unfortunate accidents while trying to save her. People will ask questions if we all die on the same day," Elon pointed out. Grief-stricken uncle attempts to attack the medical team he blames for his niece's death. Billionaire CEO and whistleblower engineer die trying to stop him. Very tragic. Very believable. Marcus realized Jennifer had planned everything down to the last detail. She wasn't just a corrupt lawyer, she was a professional killer who had been planning Emma's murder for weeks. But as they walked toward the treatment wing, Marcus noticed something Jennifer hadn't accounted for. Dr. Park was quietly texting someone on her phone, and Elon's security chief was speaking into his earpiece. The Swiss police and FBI were on their way. They just had to keep Jennifer talking long enough for help arrive. "Why did you do it?" Marcus asked as they walked down the hospital corridor. "You were making millions of dollars working for Elon. Why risk everything for foreign money?" "Because Elon's vision of the future doesn't include people like me," Jennifer replied. "He wants to automate everything, replace human workers with robots, and colonize Mars for the rich. I chose to work for people who understand that technology should serve national interests, not billionaire fantasies. So you betrayed everything you claimed to believe in. I chose a side in a war that was already happening. The question is whether America or Russia will control the technologies that shape the next century." They reached the treatment wing, where Emma was still unconscious in the gene therapy room. Through the window, Marcus could see Dr. Hoffman monitoring Emma's vital signs. The treatment was almost complete. "Open the door," Jennifer ordered, pointing her gun at Marcus. But before Marcus could move, the hospital's fire alarm started ringing. Emergency lights flashed in the hallways, and automated announcements told everyone to evacuate the building. Jennifer looked confused. "What's happening? Swiss police?" Elon said with a smile. "They've surrounded the hospital. The fire alarm is to clear innocent people out of the building so they can move in safely." Jennifer's calm confidence finally cracked. She realized her carefully planned operation was falling apart. "Open that door now or I start shooting people," she demanded. But Marcus had made his decision. He thought about Sarah dying in her Tesla, trusting that the technology would protect her. He thought about Emma dreaming of becoming an astronaut. And he thought about his promise to help other sick children. "No," Marcus said quietly. "I won't let you hurt her." Jennifer raised her gun. But before she could fire, the hospital's main doors burst open. Swiss police tactical teams and FBI agents stormed into the building, surrounding Jennifer and her men. "Drop your weapons," the lead agent shouted in English and German. Jennifer's men immediately surrendered, but Jennifer herself made one last desperate attempt to reach Emma's room. She ran toward the treatment wing, but Marcus tackled her before she could get there. As they struggled on the floor, Jennifer whispered in Marcus's ear, Even if you stop me, Emma will never be truly safe. My employers have long memories and unlimited resources. Then I'll spend the rest of my life protecting her, Marcus replied. The police handcuffed Jennifer and her team, but Marcus barely noticed. He was focused on the treatment room, where Dr. Hoffman was emerging with a huge smile on her face. The gene therapy is complete, Dr. Hoffman announced. Emma's body has accepted the modified DNA perfectly. The Huntington's disease progression has been stopped. Marcus started crying. 2 years of investigation, months of planning, and hours of terror had led to this moment. Emma was going to live. She was going to grow up, and maybe become the astronaut she dreamed of being. She's asking for you, Dr. Hoffman said. She's awake and wants to know if the treatment worked. Marcus walked into the room where Emma was sitting up in bed, looking tired but alert. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. Uncle Marcus, did I get the medicine that will make me better? Yes, sweetheart. Dr. Hoffman says the treatment worked perfectly. Does that mean I can be an astronaut someday? Marcus hugged his niece gently. Emma, you can be anything you want to be. As Emma fell asleep in her hospital bed, Marcus realized that their fight wasn't completely over. Jennifer Walsh was in custody, but her Russian employers were still free. There would be other threats, other attempts to silence the truth, but Emma was safe, and that was what mattered most. The little girl who had lost her mother to corporate negligence had survived everything that followed, and she would grow up knowing that sometimes, when people work together and refuse to give up, justice really can win. 3 days after Jennifer's arrest in Switzerland, Marcus received news that changed everything. Dr. Park had been found dead in her hotel room, and the Swiss police were calling it suicide. That's impossible, Marcus told FBI agent Rodriguez over the phone. Dr. Park was happy. She was planning to testify against Jennifer and start her new job leading Tesla's safety review board. I agree it's suspicious, Agent Rodriguez replied. But the Swiss authorities found a typed suicide note confessing to stealing Tesla documents and fabricating evidence against Jennifer Walsh. Marcus felt sick to his stomach. Even from prison, Jennifer's network was still dangerous. What about the evidence Dr. Park uploaded to the secure servers? That's the problem. Someone hacked into her accounts and deleted everything. All the Tesla documents, all the email chains, all the proof of the safety cover-ups. It's gone. Elon took the phone from Marcus. Agent Rodriguez, we still have David Martinez. He has SpaceX evidence that proves the rocket engine cover-ups. About that, David Martinez was found dead in his apartment in Austin yesterday morning. Apparent overdose. The police found drugs in his system and a note saying he couldn't live with the guilt of lying about SpaceX safety. Marcus and Elon stared at each other in horror. Jennifer's people had murdered both witnesses and made it look like suicide. So Jennifer wins? Marcus asked. All our evidence is gone and the witnesses are dead? Not exactly, Agent Rodriguez said. We're still building a case against Jennifer for conspiracy and espionage. But without Dr. Park and David Martinez, it will be much harder to prove the safety cover-ups at Tesla and SpaceX. After hanging up, Marcus sat in Emma's hospital room feeling defeated. Emma was recovering beautifully from her gene therapy, but the truth about her mother's death seemed further away than ever. Uncle Marcus, why do you look so sad? Emma asked from her bed. I thought we won. We did win, sweetheart. You're gonna be healthy and strong. That's the most important thing. But what about the bad people who hurt Mommy? Marcus didn't know how to explain that sometimes bad people escape justice, even when good people fight as hard as they can. That afternoon, Elon received an unexpected visitor at the hospital. Tom Richards, the former Tesla manager who had nodded Dr. Park's safety warnings, was standing in the lobby asking to speak with him. I know you probably hate me, Tom said when Elon met him. But I need to tell you something important. What could you possibly have to say that would matter now? Tom pulled out a small digital recorder. I recorded all my phone conversations with Jennifer Walsh. I was scared she would try to blame me for the safety cover-ups, so I kept evidence to protect myself. Elon's eyes went wide. You have recordings of Jennifer ordering the cover-ups? Hours of them. Jennifer giving orders to hide safety problems, threatening engineers who asked questions, coordinating with foreign contacts. Everything you need to prove she was behind the conspiracy. Why didn't you come forward sooner? Because I was a coward. I was more worried about my job and my reputation than about people's lives. But when I heard that Dr. Park and David Martinez were dead, I realized Jennifer would eventually come for me too. Tom played one of the recordings for Elon. Jennifer's voice was clear and unmistakable as she ordered Tom to delay the autopilot software fix that could have saved Sarah's life. This could save the case against Jennifer, Elon said. But why are you giving this to me instead of the FBI? Because I want to make a deal. I'll testify against Jennifer and turn over all my recordings. But I want protection for my family. Jennifer's people have already broken into my house twice. Elon immediately called Agent Rodriguez, who was extremely interested in Tom's recordings. Within hours, Tom was in protective custody, and his evidence was being analyzed by FBI technicians. This changes everything, Agent Rodriguez told Elon. Tom's recordings proved Jennifer ordered the Tesla cover-ups directly. Combined with the evidence you gathered about her Russian connections, we have enough to put her away for life. But as they prepared for Jennifer's trial, Marcus received a disturbing phone call from Emma's doctors in Switzerland. Mr. Chen, we need to discuss Emma's long-term care. The gene therapy was successful, but we're concerned about her safety.
What do you mean?
Someone has been asking questions about Emma at the hospital. People claiming to be journalists, but carrying no identification. We think Jennifer's associates might be planning to target Emma again. Marcus felt the familiar fear returning. What should we do? We recommend moving Emma to a secure facility until Jennifer's trial is over. Somewhere her location can be kept secret. Elon immediately offered to move Emma and Marcus to a private medical facility he owned in California. It was located on a remote ranch with full security and medical staff. Emma can continue her recovery there while we prepare for the trial, Elon said, and you can help me implement the new safety protocols we've been planning. Marcus was grateful for Elon's offer, but he worried about uprooting Emma again. She had been through so much trauma already. What do you think, Emma? Marcus asked his niece. Do you want to go to California for a while? Will there be horses? Emma asked. I've always wanted to see horses. Lots of horses, Elon promised. In a laboratory where you can work on robot designs if you want. Emma's eyes lit up. Despite everything she had been through, she was still excited about technology and building things, just like her mother had been. The move to California went smoothly, and Emma quickly adapted to her new surroundings. The ranch was beautiful, with rolling hills and clear skies perfect for stargazing. Emma spent her days recovering from the gene therapy and her evenings looking at Mars through Elon's telescope. Uncle Marcus, Emma said one night as they watched the stars, do you think Mommy can see us from heaven? I think she's very proud of you, sweetheart. You were braver than any grown-up I know. I was scared sometimes. Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do the right thing even when you are scared. Emma nodded thoughtfully. Like when you broke into Mr. Musk's house to get help for me. Marcus smiled. Exactly like that. 2 weeks later, Jennifer Walsh's trial began in federal court in Austin. The courtroom was packed with reporters, Tesla employees, SpaceX engineers, and families affected by the safety cover-ups. Marcus testified about Sarah's death and the investigation that led him to break into Elon's house. His voice was strong and clear as he described how Jennifer's conspiracy had killed his sister and threatened his niece. Tom Richards testified about the recordings he had made, playing Jennifer's voice ordering safety problems to be hidden from the public. The jury listened in shock as they heard Jennifer prioritizing stock prices over human lives. Elon testified about how he had trusted Jennifer for 8 years, never knowing she was selling his company's secret to foreign governments and covering up problems that could kill people. I built these companies to make the world better, Elon said from the witness stand. Jennifer Walsh turned them into weapons that hurt the people they were supposed to protect. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Jennifer's lawyers argued that she was a patriot trying to protect American technology from being misused, but the evidence against her was overwhelming. When the jury returned their verdict, the courtroom was silent. Jennifer was found guilty on all charges: conspiracy, espionage, corporate sabotage, and accessory to murder in the deaths of Dr. Park and David Martinez. The judge sentenced Jennifer to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As Marcus left the courthouse, he felt a mix of relief and sadness. Justice had been served, but Sarah was still gone, and Dr. Park and David Martinez had died trying to expose the truth. But then he thought about Emma, who was healthy and strong and dreaming of becoming an astronaut. He thought about the new safety protocols being implemented at Tesla and SpaceX. He thought about the other families who would be protected because they had refused to stay quiet. Sarah's death had not been in vain. Emma's courage had inspired changes that would save countless lives in the future. That evening, Marcus called Emma at the California ranch to tell her about the trial. "Uncle Marcus, does this mean the bad lady can never hurt anyone again?" "That's right, sweetheart. She's going to prison for the rest of her life." "Good. Now other kids won't lose their mommies like I did." Emma's simple words captured the entire reason they had fought so hard. They hadn't just been seeking revenge or justice for their own family. They had been fighting to protect all families from corporate greed and corruption. "Emma, do you remember the promise you asked me to make in the hospital? About helping other sick kids like me?" "Yes. I want you to know that Mr. Musk and I are starting a foundation in your mother's name. The Sarah Chen Foundation will help families affected by corporate negligence get medical treatment and legal support." "Really? We're going to help other families like ours?" "As many as we can." Emma was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that made Marcus's heart swell with pride. "Uncle Marcus, I want to help too. When I grow up, I want to work for the foundation and help sick kids get better." "That sounds like a wonderful plan." As Marcus hung up the phone, he realized that their story had come full circle. Emma, who had once been the victim of corporate conspiracy, was now planning to dedicate her life to helping other victims. The little girl who had waited for her mother to come home from a piano recital would grow up to ensure that other children didn't have to wait in vain. Jennifer Walsh was in prison, but her warning about her employers having long memories still worried Marcus. There would always be new threats, new conspiracies, new people willing to put profits before human lives. But there would also be people like Emma, Dr. Park, David Martinez, and countless others who refused to stay silent when they saw injustice. The fight for truth and safety would continue, led by a new generation that understood technology must serve humanity, not the other way around. 6 months after Jennifer's trial, Emma Chen stood in front of 500 middle school students at the Austin Convention Center. She was 12 years old now, healthy and strong, with no trace of the tremors that had once threatened her life. "My name is Emma Chen," she said into the microphone, her voice clear and confident. "2 years ago, I was dying from a genetic disease. Today, I want to tell you how my family's fight for truth saved my life and changed the world." Marcus watched from the audience, his heart swelling with pride. Emma had asked to speak at the National Student Science Fair about her experience and the importance of safety and technology. She had written her speech herself, practicing for weeks to get every word right. "My mother, Sarah Chen, was an environmental engineer who believed technology could solve the world's biggest problems," Emma continued. "She drove an electric car because she wanted to help fight climate change. But when a software bug made her car crash, she died because some people cared more about money than about keeping drivers safe." The auditorium was completely silent. Even the youngest students understood the gravity of Emma's story. My Uncle Marcus could have stayed quiet and angry. Instead, he decided to fight for the truth. He broke into Elon Musk's house in the middle of the night to show him evidence that Tesla had covered up the problem that killed my mom. Emma clicked to the next slide in her presentation, showing a photo of herself in the Swiss hospital. "While Uncle Marcus was fighting for justice, I was fighting for my life. I have a genetic disease called Huntington's that slowly destroys your brain. Without treatment, I would have died before my 15th birthday." Marcus remembered those terrifying days in Switzerland, when Jennifer's assassins had been closing in while Emma lay unconscious during gene therapy. Now Emma spoke about it calmly, like a scientist presenting research data. "The experimental treatment that saved my life cost $2 million. My family couldn't afford it, but because Uncle Marcus never gave up on finding the truth, Elon Musk paid for my treatment as part of making things right." Emma clicked to a new slide showing the Sarah Chen Foundation logo. Today, the Sarah Chen Foundation has helped 63 families get medical treatment they couldn't afford. We've also helped expose safety problems at 12 different technology companies, all because one person decided that telling the truth was more important than staying safe. The audience began to applaud, but Emma held up her hand to continue. "I'm not telling you this story to make you feel sorry for me. I'm telling you because you are the future engineers, doctors, and scientists who will design tomorrow's technology. And I want you to remember something very important. Emma's voice got stronger as she delivered the core message of her speech. Technology should make people's lives better, not put them in danger. When you grow up and have the power to make decisions about safety, I want you to be brave enough to speak up when something is wrong, even if it costs money, even if it makes your boss angry, even if it hurts your career. Marcus thought about Dr. Park and David Martinez, who had died trying to expose the truth. Their sacrifice had inspired Emma to dedicate her life to helping others. My mom died because some people made the wrong choice, Emma concluded. But her death led to changes that have saved hundreds of lives. If you remember her story and make the right choices in your careers, you can save thousands more. The standing ovation lasted 5 minutes. Afterwards, dozens of students approached Emma with questions about science, safety, and standing up for what's right. "How do you stay brave when people threaten you?" asked a 13-year-old girl from Dallas. "I think about all the families who might get hurt if I stay quiet," Emma replied. "That makes me braver than I thought I could be." "What do you want to be when you grow up?" asked a boy who looked about 10 years old. Emma smiled. "I want to be an astronaut and an engineer. I want to design spaceships that are so safe that no one ever has to worry about their family members not coming home from space." After the presentation, Emma and Marcus drove to the cemetery where Sarah was buried. They visited her grave every month, bringing flowers and updates about their work with the foundation. "Mom, the gene therapy is working perfectly," Emma said, kneeling beside the headstone. "My hands don't shake anymore, and the doctors say the Huntington's progression has stopped completely." Marcus placed fresh daisies on Sarah's grave. They had been her favorite flowers. "The foundation helped another family this week," Marcus told his sister's memory. "A little boy in Oregon whose parents couldn't afford cancer treatment. He's going to be okay because of the program you inspired." Emma stood up and brushed dirt off her knees. "Mom, I got accepted to the NASA summer camp for young astronauts. Uncle Marcus says you would be proud of me for following my dreams." As they walked back to the car, Emma asked Marcus the question she had been thinking about for months. "Uncle Marcus, do you think we really changed anything? Or will other companies just find new ways to hide safety problems?" Marcus thought carefully before answering. "I think we proved that ordinary people can fight powerful corporations and win. But you're right that the fight never really ends. There will always be new challenges. That's why I want to work for NASA and the Foundation when I grow up. Someone needs to keep watching and speaking up. Your mom would be very proud of who you're becoming." That evening, they had dinner with Elon at his Austin home. The same house where Marcus had broken in 2 years ago, desperate and angry and running out of options. Now it felt like a second home where family friends gathered to plan their next steps. "Emma, I have some news about your NASA application," Elon said during dessert. "Good news or bad news?" Emma asked nervously. "The best news. You've been accepted to the Advanced Astronaut Training Program for teenagers. You'll spend next summer learning how to design spacecraft and practicing space mission simulations." Emma jumped up from her chair and hugged Elon tightly. "Really? I'm going to learn how to be a real astronaut?" "The youngest person ever accepted to the program," Elon confirmed. "They were impressed by your science fair projects and your public speaking about technology safety." Marcus watched Emma's excitement and remembered the scared 10-year-old who had asked him to promise to help other sick children. She had kept that promise herself, becoming an advocate for safety and truth at an age when most kids only worried about homework and friends. "There's something else," Elon continued. "SpaceX is designing a new safety protocol for all our spacecraft. We want to name it the Emma Chen Safety Standard, in honor of your family's fight for truth." Emma's eyes filled with happy tears. "You're going to name a safety protocol after me? After your whole family, your mom's environmental work, your uncle's courage, and your commitment to helping others. The Emma Chen Safety Standard will ensure that every SpaceX vehicle goes through extra safety checks before any human ever flies in it." Marcus felt overwhelming gratitude for how their tragedy had been transformed into something that would protect future astronauts. Sarah's death had led to Emma's advocacy, which was now inspiring the next generation of engineers to prioritize safety over profits. Later that night, as Emma worked on her homework at Elon's kitchen table, Marcus stepped outside to look at the stars. Mars was visible in the clear Texas sky, a red dot that represented humanity's next great adventure. He thought about Sarah, who had believed in using technology to save the planet. He thought about Dr. Park and David Martinez, who had died defending the truth. And he thought about Emma, who was planning to carry their mission to the stars. Marcus's phone buzzed with a text message from Emma, even though she was just inside the house. "Uncle Marcus, look at this article I found online. A group of engineers in Japan created a new safety reporting system based on our story. They're calling it the Chen Protocol. We're helping people all over the world." Marcus smiled and texted back, "Your mom would be amazed by how far her story has traveled. Do you think she knows? I think she's been watching over us this whole time." As Marcus looked up at Mars, he imagined Emma as a grown woman, commanding a spacecraft on humanity's first mission to the Red Planet. The little girl who had once waited for her mother to come home would someday lead others safely across the solar system. The fight that had begun with a desperate break-in on a cold Texas night had become a movement that would protect travelers to the stars. And it all started because one man refused to accept that his sister's death was just an unavoidable accident. Sometimes the most important changes in the world begin with a single person who decides that truth matters more than comfort, and love matters more than fear. Emma Chen would grow up to be that kind of person, carrying her mother's dreams and her uncle's courage to places Sarah could never have imagined. The future was in good hands. 8 years later, Commander Emma Chen stood on the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center, looking up at the massive SpaceX Starship that would carry her and 5 other astronauts to Mars. She was 20 years old, the youngest person ever selected for an interplanetary mission. "Final systems check complete," she said into her helmet microphone. "All Emma Chen's safety protocol requirements have been verified." Marcus watched from mission control, his hair now gray but his eyes bright with pride. At 42, he had spent the last 8 years working as director of safety for all of Elon's companies. The Sarah Chen Foundation had grown into an international organization that had helped over 2,000 families. "Emma, this is Uncle Marcus," he said through the communication system. "Your mom would be so proud right now. I can feel her with me," Emma replied, checking her instruments one final time. "Every safety protocol we follow, every system we double-check, every precaution we take, it's all because of the path she started." Dr. Elena Hoffman, now in her 60s, was also watching from mission control. She had had Emma's mentor and the Foundation's chief medical officer. The gene therapy that saved Emma's life had been refined and had helped cure hundreds of other children with genetic diseases. "Emma's vital signs are perfect," Dr. Hoffman reported. "The genetic modifications we made 8 years ago are still working flawlessly. No signs of Huntington's progression." Elon Musk, now 53 and grayer, but still driven by his vision of making life multiplanetary, stood beside Marcus in mission control. The two men had become close friends through their shared commitment to safety and truth. "This mission represents everything we've learned," Elon said to the launch team. "Every safety protocol, every backup system, every redundancy was designed to bring our people home safely." Emma's spacecraft, officially designated Starship Dragon, had been renamed by the crew in honor of the woman whose death had changed everything. They called it Sarah's Dream. T-minus 60 seconds, announced the launch director. All systems green. Emma thought about the long journey that had brought her to this moment. After graduating high school at 16, she had earned degrees in both aerospace engineering and medicine from MIT. She had spent 2 years training at NASA, becoming an expert in spacecraft safety systems and emergency medical procedures. T-minus 30 seconds. The other 5 crew members were all engineers and scientists who had been inspired by Emma's story. Dr. James Park, no relation to the late Dr. Lisa Park, but named after her by parents who admired her courage, was the mission's chief safety officer. Rodriguez Martinez, whose father David had died exposing SpaceX safety problems, was the spacecraft's engine specialist. T-minus 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. The Raptor engines fired with perfect precision. Every engine had been tested using the safety protocols that David Martinez had died trying to implement. The fuel injection system had been redesigned 3 times to eliminate the pressure problems he had identified. Sarah's Dream. "You are go from Mars," Mission Control announced. As the spacecraft lifted off, Marcus remembered the night 8 years ago when he had climbed over Elon's fence, desperate and angry and running out of hope. He had broken into that house to save Emma's life. Now Emma was breaking free of Earth's gravity to fulfill humanity's greatest dream. "Uncle Marcus, can you hear me?" Emma's voice came through the communication system. "I hear you loud and clear, Commander Chen. I want to read something to everyone listening. I wrote it for Mom." Emma's voice was calm and professional, but Marcus could hear the emotion underneath. "Mom, today I'm flying to Mars in a spacecraft that carries your name and your dreams. Every safety system, every backup plan, every protocol that protects us was created because you died trying to trust technology that wasn't ready to be trusted." The communication channel was silent except for Emma's voice. "You believed that technology should serve humanity, not the other way around. You died because some people forgot that belief. But your death reminded the world that every innovation, every advancement, every step forward must be measured by how it protects and serves the people who use it." Marcus wiped tears from his eyes as he listened to his niece honor her mother from space. "The 6 of us flying to Mars today represent thousands of engineers, doctors, and safety experts who have spent 8 years making sure this mission would succeed. We carry the dreams of everyone who believes technology can make the world better, but only if we never forget that human lives are more important than corporate profits." The spacecraft was now beyond Earth's atmosphere, beginning its 7-month journey to Mars. "Mom, I promise that everything we discover on Mars, every technology we develop, every system we create, will be designed to help people, not hurt them." The Emma Chen safety standard isn't just about spacecraft anymore. It's about remembering that progress without protection is not progress at all. Mission Control erupted in applause. Emma's speech was being broadcast around the world, inspiring a new generation of engineers and scientists. "Sarah's dream. This is Mission Control," Elon announced. "Your message has been received by millions of people on Earth. Your mother's legacy is now traveling to Mars." Over the following months, as Emma and her crew journeyed through space, the world followed their progress with heterogeneous interest. The mission wasn't just about reaching Mars. It was about proving that technology developed with safety and ethics as the highest priorities could achieve anything. The spacecraft systems performed flawlessly. Every backup worked when needed. Every emergency protocol functioned exactly as designed. The Emma Chen safety standard had created the most reliable spacecraft ever built. When Sarah's dream finally landed on Mars, Emma became the first person to step onto the red planet. Her first words were broadcast to Earth and recorded in history books forever. "I take this step for my mother Sarah Chen, who believed technology should serve humanity. For Dr. Lisa Park and David Martinez, who died defending that belief. For my uncle Marcus, who never stopped fighting for truth, and for every person on Earth who dreams of a future where innovation and ethics walk hand in hand among the stars." Marcus watched from Mission Control as his niece planted a flag on Mars bearing the logo of the Sarah Chen Foundation. The little girl who had once asked him to promise to help other sick children was now helping humanity take its first steps toward becoming a multi-planetary species. "Emma, this is Uncle Marcus. Mission accomplished." "No, Uncle Marcus," Emma replied from the surface of Mars. "Mission just beginning." As Emma and her crew began their work on Mars, establishing the first permanent human settlement on another planet, Marcus reflected on how much had changed since that desperate night 8 years ago. Sarah Chen had died in a Tesla on a California highway, killed by a software bug that corporate executives had chosen not to fix. Her death had seemed meaningless, a random tragedy in a world that often seemed indifferent to individual suffering. But Sarah's death had inspired her brother to fight for truth, her daughter to dedicate her life to safety, and the world's most innovative companies to put human welfare above profit margins. What began as one family's quest for justice had become humanity's roadmap for ethical technological development. Emma would spend 2 years on Mars, conducting research that would benefit people on both planets. When she returned to Earth, she would continue her work with the Sarah Chen Foundation while training for future missions to Jupiter's moons and beyond. The woman who had survived Huntington's disease as a child would become the guardian of human safety among the stars. The little girl who had waited for her mother to come home would ensure that future space travelers always returned safely to their families. Sometimes the most important changes in history begin with someone refusing to accept that tragedy is inevitable. Marcus Chen had failed to accept his sister's death as just an accident. Emma Chen had refused to let her mother's sacrifice be meaningless. Now, As Earth's first ambassador to Mars, Emma carried her mother's dreams to places Sarah could never have imagined. The future that had once seemed impossible was now unfolding on two worlds, built on a foundation of truth, courage, and the unshakable belief that technology must always serve humanity's highest aspirations. The boy who had broken into Elon Musk's house to save his niece's life watched that same niece plant humanity's flag on Mars. Some promises, Marcus realized, take longer to keep than others. But the most important ones are always worth the wait. That was the incredible story of Marcus Chen, Emma, and how one desperate break-in changed the world forever. From a tragic Tesla crash to the first human mission to Mars, we witnessed how courage, truth, and love can overcome even the most powerful conspiracies. Emma's journey from a dying child to humanity's first Mars commander shows us that no matter how dark things seem, there's always hope when people refuse to give up on what's right. We'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and let us know what city or country you're in. It's amazing to think that this story is reaching people all around the world. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. It really helps us reach more people who need to hear inspiring stories like Emma's. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more incredible true stories that will restore your faith in humanity. Most importantly, please share this video with your friends and family. In a world that can sometimes feel divided, stories like this remind us that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they stand up for truth and justice. Let's spread kindness and awareness together, one story at a time. Thank you for listening. And remember, sometimes the most important changes in the world begin with just one person who refuses to stay quiet. Until next time, keep believing in the power of truth.